Hey everyone, in this video we are going to be solving the rational equation you see on your screen right now. This is a nice example to do because there's quite a bit of distributing in it, but it's also sort of easy at the same time because we will probably factor this denominator with these two factors right here. Not many surprises. And it's also easy in the sense that this is a plus sign and the minus sign in that position is what makes these problems more interesting and messier. But let's dive into it nonetheless. The first thing we do to solve a rational equation is we basically transform it into a polynomial. We've been solving polynomial equations since earlier in this curriculum. If you are learning this in any course at any time, you should have already covered a unit on polynomials. Factoring, all the different factoring methods, perhaps rational root theorem, perhaps division of polynomials, long or synthetic division, perhaps graphing polynomials, all of that. So we're going to kind of do a little hack cheat and we're going to change this into a polynomial. But that being said, since we're doing that, the answers we get will be a little bit more loosey-goosey because polynomials have a domain of all real numbers. They're smooth, they're continuous, they have no interruptions. Whereas rational equations, we have restricted values or excluded values that we put on the side, make note of, that would be bad news bears because they make our denominator 0, which causes an expression to be undefined and makes our equation a throwaway. So we're going to change it into a polynomial. Before we can do that, we need to factor our denominator. If you need help factoring, I do have a whole playlist on factoring. You got to go and watch it, okay? Don't say you will later. Don't say you're pretty good at factoring and just follow along and fake it. If you have doubts about your factoring ability, if you cannot pause this right now and factor this denominator by yourself, just go watch the AC method and grouping videos, anything that I have there that has to do with factoring quadratics. Please, I'm begging you, okay? So I'm going to jump to it. This will factor to x plus 6 and x minus 3. In order to not confuse myself, I'm going to cross that out right there. I'm going to put some jumbo parentheses around this because I'm going to multiply through this entire equation by my least common denominator. Now, what is my least common denominator? Your least common denominator is the smallest combination of factors that you can get underneath each denominator without taking anything away from anybody else or depriving any denominator. So they need all to have at least 1x plus 6 because two of them have 1x plus 6 underneath it. And they also need to have the x minus 3 because two denominators have that as well. As I distribute that through to everybody, I am not going to be writing out a lot of work. We are in the process of becoming better at holding a picture of algebra in our head. And this is not easy for people who don't know. I'm going to be very honest with you, okay? If you don't know your times tables by heart, if you don't know the procedure by heart, if you don't know how to add and subtract positive and negative numbers, you're not going to be very good at holding a picture of what's happening in the problem in your head so that you can skip steps and write down something new, okay? Maybe you were good at that in 4th grade, but maybe you have been slacking since then. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. That is the reality, okay? If you make lots of mistakes when you don't show work, and you never used to, you got to brush up on your fundamentals, okay? So I'm going to multiply this through, right, to everyone. If it goes over here, all numerators and denominators have invisible parentheses around them. So this is going over here in the numerator of this first fraction. What crosses out? The x plus 6, right? So x plus 6 goes away. I'll have x minus 3 squared. I'm going to write it like that this time. I'm usually not a big fan of that, but let's change it up. Next fraction that we distribute to are here. And remember, you reset. Oh, sorry, the pen's in the way. You reset. Even though something crossed out before, x plus 6 reduced, it's back. We're distributing. This time the x minus 3 reduces, and we have to expand those two together. We'll use FOIL to do that. So don't try to be a hero and do everything at once. I mean, if you want to try now, I guess it's better than trying on a quiz, right? and then press pause and see if you get the same answer as me. I'm a little afraid for you, but go for it if you think you're great. Here, what crosses out, if you said both of them, go you, you're a genius. So the only thing I'm going to write down after the equal sign is x squared. Okay, now how do I expand x minus 3, x minus 3? Can you please try? Can you write this down? X squared plus 9, is that correct? If you said yes, I'm going to kick you in the butt. You should be dealing with x minus 3 times another x minus 3. You have to FOIL. You might have to hold that picture in your head. And if you stink at it, then write it down. That will become x squared minus 6x. I think we're past the point where you need to write minus 3x minus 3x. If you're not, then you have to keep writing it, but you got to take the training wheels off eventually, guys, right? Plus, let's expand this. X times x is x squared. Outer is plus 6x. Inner is minus 2x. That's going to be plus 4x. Last times last is minus 12 equals x squared. Again, mentioning this a million times, you'll hear it over and over again. But if this were a minus sign, then it would distribute to everything. And a lot of you guys are only doing the first and maybe the first and second terms, but it has to go to everything. So in this case, it's plus. I don't have to worry about it. But if it were minus up to the 9, you would have the same. And then you'd have minus x squared, minus 4x, and then plus 12. All right. What am I going to do now? Well, I'm going to combine like terms, right? And let's see what we get. And then I'll bring that x squared over somewhere in the process. So there are fancier, quicker, shorter ways to do stuff. You could watch it in double speed if you are bored. 2x squared, not x to the 4th. Cut it out. X squared times x squared is x to the 4th. Stop doing that. Minus 6x plus 4x is minus 2x. Positive 9, take away 12 is minus 3. Still equals x squared. I'm going to get it equal to the happy 0. Why do we get it equal to 0? Well, because you're solving a polynomial equation, of course. Duh. So here we are. How do we solve polynomial equations? We get them equal to 0, and then we factor and solve. If you need help factoring this, please go watch one of those other videos and find the playlist on factoring methods. So you go to my main channel, and I think you click something somewhere and you can see the playlist, okay? It might even be on the main page, I'm not sure. What is this factor to? I hope that you're able by yourself to get that right there. Now we're going to apply the zero product property. So what's that going to look like? That means we're going to take x minus 3, set that equal to 0, and we're going to take x plus 1 and set that equal to 0. Fun fact, I find it very obnoxious when people write this and this above each other and do the work on the side. I think that is the most annoying thing you can do in a problem like this. It makes no sense. Put them next to each other, do the work underneath. You can find your answers a little bit better that way, okay? And it does no teacher wrote it that way. No one showed you that. You made that up yourself. No math person that studied math in college writes like that. You're just being silly. So these are the two answers we get if we turn this into a polynomial and go ahead and solve that polynomial. However, we need to look at our original problem and state our restrictions, right? So we should have done that first of all, but you know me. I always want to dive right into the problem. So what are the restrictions related to the original problem? If we look back up here, x cannot equal -6. X cannot equal 3. So what you're going to do right now is, I'm going to draw this big explosion. We are going to write solution x equals -1. That means that this original equation in the problem is true under one condition. Only if and only if x is equal to -1. If you're listening to this and not just fast forwarding and writing what you see on the screen, but if you are listening to this, you are not drawing that squiggle that I just drew. You are writing extraneous solution, colon, x equals 3. So when you have a number on the solution list, when you solve the polynomial version of your rational equation, and you have a number on your restricted value list, 2 places at once, yeah, that is an extraneous or extra solution that we are excluding and throwing away. We're keeping it out. So you're going to write down extraneous solution, spell it as best you can, extraneous, 1N, and you're going to put a little colon, and then you'll write x equals 3. Stop using dashes as like a hyphen or an equal sign. Use an equals for equals. And a dash or a hyphen is actually what we call a minus sign or a negative in the math community. Welcome to the math world. So that's what you should have if you're listening, if I'm your teacher and collecting this, or looking at your work to see who is just a fast forwarder copier and who is a legit listener or just did it by themselves. All right. So I hope you found this helpful. If you are crushing it and if you are listening to this audio, you can put a thumbs up on the video. If you're not listening, then you don't know what to do. And if you are listening, but you are very confused still and sad, and this doesn't help you, and you need more practice, and you don't understand me and find my explanation horrible, put a thumbs down. It's okay. I can handle it. I'm tough. Don't worry. So go to the next video that pops up on the screen if it interests you, or go to the playlist and pick the one that you want to see next. They should be in order corresponding to a worksheet that this goes with if you are in my class. And I will see you in the next video. You'll see me in the next video. Have a great day. Bye.